Is your break from sitting. Oh my gosh, I think this is so needed. So, I will ask you while I fix this little guy here. There we go. Now we're stable. To come into Ragdoll at the top of your space. You don't even have to have a mat for this. Really nice. Just, I know a lot of people have been doing a lot of sitting lately, and it's time just to get up and move our body in some different ways. This sequence will be very accessible for anyone who needs it. So, even if you're not a sitter, if you're just someone who needs some yoga in their life, this will be completely appropriate for you as well. Take a couple of moments to just sense the back of your legs and to let any and all information that the body sends your way presence you. Give the torso time to lengthen. You might even feel those tiny letting goes throughout the fascia. This practice is intended as a breath of fresh air from your normal routine. That's my intention for you. What is your intention to make this movement meaningful? Awesome. Keep your feet still the same width apart. Take a big breath in and exhale to seal your lips. Again, inhale and full exhale through your nose. Inhale, slowly star. Come all the way up. Take a few breaths at the top. Lean back in space. Even open up through your hip flexors, your front pockets of the hips. You might even continue to arc back like you've got something behind you to catch you. Breathe in and exhale. Let's just take a nice side bend over to the left. Left hand is on left hip, and we'll just reach over our shoulders. I'm going to take some arm circles here. Right arm just does a nice slow carousel around in a nice big old firework sort of shape. Sensing into the side bodies now, letting them open. Exhale. Breathe in through, star, lean back, open, open, open. Exhale, second side. Right hand to right hip. Feel that arc first. Really sass your hips to the left. And then perhaps you get your left arm to start that smooth stroke up and then down. When we're sitting or when we're in one position for too long, those fibers are like, oh, you like this position? Great. I'm going to strengthen into this form. Kind of what you practice, you become. And now we're just practicing, maybe not just becoming that one posture, but flowing into some different forms and elongating those shortened fibers. Take an exhale. Breathe in through center star and exhale. Forward fold, still in ragdoll feet. On your next breath in, halfway lift, turn your heels in, toes out slightly, and exhale, yogi squat. Did you hear all those crunches? Those were my knees. Apologies. Let's just take a little bit of movement here. Sense deep within the hip joint. You'll see me close my eyes a lot when I practice, and it's because when you turn out that outside stimuli, you could really have better notice and appreciation for what's happening within your own experience. And just like horse, sometimes you like to do those shoulder dips. I like to do them here. I take my forearms to my inner thighs. And I just start to flirt with the rotation of my spine. If it still feels okay to be here, you can stay here. If not, you can just plop down onto your tailbone. I'm going to stay up. Ground down through your left hand, please. Push your left knee out the way. Inhale, right arm high, and exhale to take a half bind behind your back. So I'm going to switch around for you so you can see, but this is just what's happening right now. I got a nice low squat and a little bit of rotation through my spine. We started class just by rounding the spine and then taking a nice back bend in star, that forward and that backward flexion and extension. Then we went from side to side, that lateral flexion. Now we'll just begin to twist into those spongy discs and make some room. Breathe in, right arm up, twirl out your wrists, your fingers, and exhale. Let's prepare for the second side. Right hand down, left arm up, and exhale for your half bind. You might feel something, you might not. It doesn't matter if you do. Just make sure that you feel that tailbone heavy and dropped. Your heart chases your left shoulder. Breathe out. Inhale, left arm high. Exhale, forward fold. Breathe in, halfway lift. And breath out, downward facing dog. This is my favorite. Yesterday, I worked for hours at my computer on all my projects and trainings. And when I took downward facing dog, I swear I heard some sort of angel chorus sing. If you can see your heels, I can see my right heel peeking in a bit inside my ankle. Just go ahead and shift them behind your ankles so you can't see them. It doesn't matter how close they are to the floor or not, but just make sure they're not sickling in or out. We've got really nice alignment with all 10 toes toward the top of our mats. Perfect. From here, hinge forward toward plank, lower down your knees, and let's just take a nice upward facing dog. We'll call it a half-assed upward facing dog. So I don't want the whole shebang. I just want something maybe where your knees are still on the floor, cobra-like. Just a sense, a deepening of that front line opening. Good. Let's flow that a couple of times. Breathe in, breath out, downward facing dog. Breathe in, upward facing dog. Knees can lower, untuck, look up. Exhale, downward facing dog. Tuck the toes, hips back. One last time. Inhale, upward facing dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. Breathe in. Just take your right leg up, bend, twist, open. Stay for just a second. Twirl out through your wrists, your ankles, which are the wrists of the lower half of the body. Take a breath in, straighten your leg, and exhale for runner's lunge outside of your right pinky finger. Let's just lay our back knee down. I would like something. If it does not feel good for you to put your forearms on the ground, make a stack of something that's sturdy to put them on. It's such a reprieve for the wrists. And from here, we're just going to be doing some rocking back and forth. So you're welcome to stay here for just a couple more breaths to get that posture under control. And then from here, we'll just keep our hands or our forearms where they are and go ahead and lengthen. So I'll come up onto my hand so that you can see what's happening. Okay, kind of like a half split situation, but out to the side a little bit more. Perfect. Exhale to deepen. And inhale to straighten. Take that a few more times on your own now. And your legs are meant to be stable. God forbid they pop off like Barbie legs. In my household, I find Barbie legs everywhere. They need to be stable. They get all of your work done, right? They do whatever will comes to your brain. Let's take one more stretch. Perfect. Heel toe your front leg in between your hands. And then let's just go ahead and take that knife edge of the foot parallel, spin this foot around and come up for gate. So we want a pretty good expanse between these two. And then we'll just sense down the leg. And I feel this in my inner thigh. That's my intention for having you here, but it's not wrong to feel it other places. So once you've sensed your depth, perhaps now to take your left hand behind the nape of your neck or your head and to lean back into it. We'll start to get into the shoulders just a little bit. Yoga doesn't have to be fancy to be effective. I say it all the time. Also doesn't have to be long. We don't have to do all of the postures. This is going to reset you for the rest of your day, hopefully give you some new air to breathe. We're stretching our respiration muscles right now. Just feel really nice. Good. Come back up. Let's come in a modified side plank here. Top leg rises. And let's catch for a quad stretch. In fact, I would say that 99% of my yoga practices this year, the past 12 calendar months, have been gentle yoga practices or completely yin yoga practices. Do not have to be fancy or long to be effective. As one of my mentors always says, frequency over duration. Come back to modified side plank. Top foot lands, come all the way back. Low lunge. Breathe in, three-legged dog. Breath out, downward dog. Breathe in, left leg high. And breath out, runner's lunge. Pause and breathe. Not stretching just yet, back and forth, but learning how to sit in the posture and be patient with it just for a few moments. On your inhales, just straightening as much as feels good through your front knee. And on your exhales, coming forward and down. Try that at your own pace now. I'd like to give a couple of shout outs. I've been giving shout outs lately to all those of you who've gotten in touch with me that do these on a regular basis. Jake in North Carolina. We've got Maria. Rebecca just got back from Maine and says she's been doing it. I want to thank you guys so much for reaching out. These are for you. These are not for me. Although I would say this is one of the highlights of my week is getting to do these sequences with you. I'm like, what would feel good this week? I'm going to take one more just for good measure. I haven't really been counting, but I do feel like I need one more to even myself out. Perfect. Heel toe your left leg in between here. Very nice. And then we'll go ahead and prepare for our gate pose. And I'm going to flip so that I can still actually see you as we go. So knife edge of front foot as this one straightens. Come in and around toward the side of your mat, nice and tall. And then just start to sense down the left leg. What's going on? Where you feel a nice little stretch here. And then once you've settled, to take a little beach babe arm. Let the weight of your head come back into your arm. I know we don't think our weight is an asset, but it can be. I feel this in a completely different spot on this side of the body, which is good, right? You feel it where you need to feel it. Come back up through center. Let's prepare for modified side plank. Come up slowly, get your balance, and then take your quad stretch here. Modified side plank. Drop your top foot, windmill back to low lunge. Inhale, three-legged dog. And exhale, lower all the way down to your knees. Perfect. Let's do one last thing before we get like the briefest Shavasana ever. And let's come around onto our seat for lifted table, okay? So lifted table, just like lifted plank, except for our ankles are underneath our knees. And you don't have to lift your hips that much, or you could lift them all the way up so that you do look like you're a sturdy table. I like to keep my chin tucked. So good for your chest. So good for it, especially as we round when we sit. Carefully lower down. Let's take Supta Baddha Konasana for our little mini Shavasana, our one supine position. And come out with our hands out to the sides. Snuggle your shoulders underneath your heart. Breathe in. And as you let go, just know that I'll be here in just a few moments, literally just a few moments to guide you out. Unguard and take rest. Take your knees back together like a book and just let them fall to the left side. Sensing the body awakening once more. And then let them shift through center and just fall messily to the right side with a kerplunk. Again, sensing the body coming back. And as you bring the soles of your feet to the earth and your knees upward, let's just take our hands to our heart space. This practice was meant to be a breath of fresh air, a little refreshment for you. So let's just do that. Let's take in a breath of fresh air and let go of anything that won't serve us for the rest of the day. Thank you so much for entrusting me with your practice. Thank you so much for being a part of our community. Namaste. I make these a certain amount of time because I see what you guys respond to and what you don't. If you have any requests, if you want longer, shorter, anything specific, get a hold of me. I'm here to serve you. Take care, Power Life.